What's up, G Show land, and welcome to another episode of the G Show podcast. I am G1, and this is the Geek Out, episode 25. Woo! We got 25 weeks in the books. We've actually been a little bit longer than 25 weeks. We skipped last week because last week we did a special edition. Matt and myself. Matt talked about his experience with It and how he liked the movie, and then we also went on earlier in the week to talk about J.J. Abrams directing Star Wars Episode 9, which was big.
Matt basically spent the hour being wrong.
Yeah, pretty much. So I guess you guys know what's happening right now. Joining me, as always, we've got my man C. Monty back. Chris, what's up, my brother?
What's going on, man?
Yeah, it's going to be me and you chilling, rocking these podcasts for the next couple of weeks while Matt gets his debate notes together, huh?
He's going to need that time. He don't want it.
He don't want it. What are we talking about here? We're talking about the It review that Monty and Matt are going to clash heads about. Again, I just want to be the moderator, the mediator, the whatever player. I just want to be in the middle, listening to the arguments from both sides. I cannot wait for this. This is going to be fun. And I just hope, Matt, if you're listening, you are up for the challenge. Because you said we were wrong. And Chris said you were wrong. And I said, I really don't give a shit either way. But I just want to be entertained and have a nice, fun debate. And so, ladies and gentlemen, look out for that. That should be coming soon within the next couple of months. Weeks. Within the next
couple. You have to open the cast up with Gonna Fly Now from Rocky.
Oh, absolutely. That's actually a good idea. You know what? I like that. I'm going to take a note mentally and probably forget by the end of this podcast. Because joining me is also my trusty sidekick, Mr. Bud Light. Yes, it's 9 o'clock in the morning, and yes, I'm having a couple of cold ones this early, but that's all right. I work, damn it. I deserve this shit. I don't care.
It's 12:21 out here.
There you go. Yeah, so technically, I'm on New York time, and it's football season. So, before we get into everything, I just want to, give a quick shout out to Puerto Rico. I got family out there, cousins, aunts, uncles, and my mother-in-law is out there. And we haven't heard from anybody yet, but we don't believe anything happened to them. They just without power. But I just want to let everybody out there know that whenever you hear this, that I am thinking of you, and we are trying to get in touch with you guys. So, Marina, whenever you hear this, you'll see a Facebook post. This is the time. I don't mind you commenting on my Facebook post. Go right ahead. I want to know if you're safe. I want to know if the kids are safe. Yeah. So, and everybody in Mexico right now with those earthquakes. I mean, dude, the world is seriously, Mother Nature is sending us a message, if you will. Not like M. Night Shyamalan's movie, but, there's some tumultuous shit going on with nature.
4 hurricanes back to back to back. That shit ain't normal, bro.
It's not, man. It's not. It's a scary situation for everybody in the way of these storms. Everybody in Houston and everybody in Texas that got hit. I have a good friend on Facebook. One of the admins from another monster page. He lives in Texas, and that water when was it Irma? No, which one was the one that went up in Texas?
That was Harvey.
When Harvey went up in there, you had to see the water levels just rising. It was insane. It was serious. He was filming outside of his porch, and the water was his porch is 8 to 10 steps down, and the water level was right up on his feet at the top of the porch. So it's no joke, man. It's no joke, man. To the people who lost their lives, it's a sad, sad thing that nature is doing this. I mean, we got so much more to worry about with, just the regular goings-ons with the world today, whether it be political or personal. It's shit like this is just, it's a scary situation. And again, man, my thoughts are with everybody. I'm not a religious man, so I can't say my prayers, but my thoughts are definitely with everybody out there affected by any type of catastrophe that's been going on in this past month. But, yeah, speaking of catastrophes, and I know this is a bad segue, I didn't get to go see a movie that opened this week that was one of my highly anticipated movies, and that is KINGSMAN Golden Circle. So I'm sitting here kind of upset that I wasn't able to participate in viewing this movie, but my co-host Chris did, and I know he's got some things he wants to say about it. So, Chris, by all means.
I'm gonna try not to dig into it too much because since you didn't see it as well, I don't want to like do a spoiler review. Like if we was doing it together, I wouldn't mind doing a spoiler review, but I don't want to spoil it for you.
Thank you.
But it was a double, I dug it. I know a lot of people are out there kind of like ragging on it and everything, and it's just one of those movies that I guess is just like that, where it's not for everybody. And I get that. Now, what I'm about to say is a controversial statement, so you got to allow me to clarify it as soon as I say it.
Okay.
I would kind of put it up there with Baby Driver in terms of the amount of fun I had watching. Okay. Not that it's necessarily the same quality level of film. Edgar Wright is a genius. Not to say that Matthew Vaughn isn't a genius as well, but Matthew Vaughn is a very, very talented director, and he does a lot of amazing things with his movies. But just in the sheer amount of fun that I had while watching this movie, it's kind of up there. Like, and Matthew Vaughn has like this very frenetic style of like camera work and everything, where you can tell that a lot of the shots are stitched together by CG. But the way he does it allows for like these amazing action sequences, like the church scene in the first one.
Right.
90% of those camera angles are probably like CG stitching different shots together. And that's cool because it works for what he was doing in that scene, and it works for what he's doing in the scenes in this movie as well. I like how they subvert certain tropes, like what they do with Colin Firth's character. Okay. In terms of how they bring him back and everything. Again, not going to go into spoiler details and everything like that, but the most I'll say is like it's one of those things where like when a character comes back and he's like right on. He's every bit as good as he was in the first. Like, they play with it. Like, it takes him time to get back on his feet.
Okay. Basically. I like that.
I liked Pedro Pascal's character. Like, I'm really digging his acting, dude. From playing Oberyn Martell on Game of Thrones to Javier Pena on Narcos, like this. I'm glad this dude is starting to get some shine because he's a really talented actor. Channing Tatum was good. Like they surprisingly underused him.
Oh wow, okay.
Like not underused him, but like someone like that. When you pull him into a movie, like as big as his star is right now, when you pull him into a movie, you expect to see a lot more of him in the movie. But they kind of like had him on the sideline. He was just there to represent the statesman, but he didn't really do anything major. They didn't make it about him.
Right. He had it's a cameo almost.
Basically.
Gotcha.
Same thing with Jeff Bridges. Julianne Moore, I really dug as the villain. I like the way. She's still sexy.
She's still sexy as ever.
Yeah, like I like the way in these movies they make the villains seem like people you wouldn't kind of like. Most of these villains in these movies are like hardcore, like obvious bad guys and everything like that. Like Samuel L. Jackson. In the first one, like, it's kind of geeky. He doesn't like blood. He has a lisp and everything like that. Like, doesn't seem the type. And it's the same thing here. Like, she seems like this kind of wholesome. She has this thing for 50s nostalgia and stuff like that. And she does like this very wholesome kind of clean cut act, but she's vicious when she has to. But like all these vicious decisions that she's making, these calls that she's ordering people to be killed, but like she's doing like this sweet singy songy voice, like, so if you could just go ahead and just shoot him in the head, that'd be great, and thanks. like that kind of thing. It's really great the way she plays that. Mark Strong, I really dug what they did with this character in this movie. I really don't want to get into too much with it because again, this is there's a certain scene where I'm just going to leave it at that he did a really great job in the movie.
All right, cool.
Yeah, just so much of the movie I could have done without certain storylines, like what was going on with the President of the United States in that movie. I kind of get the commentary they were trying to make, but at the same time, it's like you didn't really need that. Right. And it dragged the movie out kind of unnecessarily. But all in all, it was a solid movie. It was a fun movie. It was just like one of those movies where you go in, turn your brain off, and enjoy the spectacle. Like a Pacific Rim kind of thing. Like, it's not a great movie by any stretch of the imagination. It's not like you're gonna be like in 20 years, like, yo, this shit is a classic.
Right.
But you have fun while you're watching it. You might revisit from time to time, like, you know what? I got 2.5 hours to myself. I'm gonna throw on Kingsman Golden Circle, and I'm gonna have some fun.
So, is it safe to assume that Kingsman 1 is the better movie?
It's the better rated movie.
Okay.
I guess a lot of that has to do with it's establishing its universe and everything like that. This one definitely punches it up a notch in terms of like the amount of action stuff that's going on. But again, if you're not a fan of like the way that Vaughn uses CGI to stitch certain things together and like all that kind of stuff, you'll probably be like, oh, this looks fake, that looks fake. If you're willing to just accept that for what it is and just enjoy it, then in terms of spectacle, this is the better movie.
Okay.
But, you know, the first one I think had better characterization, better writing overall.
So if you had to put it in a category, Kick-Ass 2 or 22 Jump Street, where does it go?
Closer to 22 Jump Street.
Okay. All right. It's funny you said, I just watched 21 Jump Street with my 13-year-old last week. I said, you know what? Fuck it. Let's watch it. And yeah, she was cracking up. It's a funny movie still. Yeah. But I don't remember 22 Jump Street as much. I've seen it only once. So I don't know how raunchy it gets. I know they're in college. And, you know, college is a lot of wet t-shirt contests. Was there anything particular that stood out for you in Golden Circle?
One of the things that stood out for me was how... I was about to call him Javier Peña because I'm just used to him as that character now. Pedro Pascal's action sequences. He did really great with his action sequences. They had his character doing a lot of cool shit.
Alrighty. Man, I want to see this movie, man. It's definitely, you know, and I have to see this movie soon. I mean, we still have all of October before we get into the real, like, the second half of the year, the season, with Thor, Justice League, and, of course, Star Wars. And I'm sure I'm missing something in between there. But I have to see this because although I did like it, I didn't love it like Matt did. And I didn't hate it like you did. But it served its purpose for the end of the summer movie. I think this movie was going to be the end. Putting the nail in the coffin for the summer flicks. And we had a couple of really good flicks overall this year. Honestly, I can't wait for us to get into that top 10 at the end of the year because it's gonna be kind of crazy how things go down. But I'm really looking forward to this movie. And I still got to see Atomic Blonde and shit, and I still got to see what else. I don't care what anybody says. I still got to see Valerian. Shit, I really do. But yo, come on, man. Valerian's gonna be good. You better stop that shit. It is this generation. I'm telling you, it's going to be this generation's Fifth Element, even though all the reviews say otherwise.
Fuck out of here.
Even though all the other reviews say otherwise. That's what I'm looking for. That's why I want to see it. Is Luke Besson
this generation's... Eat a dick.
Easy. You already made fun of the beer choice I drink, you damn bastard. Oh, man. Speaking of good movies this year, I got Wonder Woman last week. Well, yeah, this past week. Wonder Woman dropped Blu-ray. I picked it up. I watched it again. And, dude, I gotta be honest. That movie is fucking good. Like, holy shit, is that movie good. And I didn't tell you anything about topics. I told you we're gonna freestyle today, right? And the reason for this was because I didn't want you to prepare any kind of counter arguments just yet. I want you just to flow off the top of your head because we've had conversations plenty of times off air where we just go, we fucking go. And I think this might be one of those podcasts. So.
That's a dangerous move.
That's fine. See, I'm not going to get hyperventilated about it.
When I don't have time to plan, I become like a caged animal. I'm just that much more dangerous.
Yeah, and you didn't eat till you're a little hangry? This is bad.
Word.
So I watched Wonder Woman the other day. I enjoyed the shit out of it again. I do. Now I really do. That third act, Ares could have been handled a little bit different. I don't think I would have changed much with the way they went with it as just an aesthetic thing. I would have changed and made it a little bit more practical and probably took away some of the glowy stuff. You know, there was a lot of bright lights and shit. The lightning I'm cool with. He's a god. He took a Zeus bolt to the gut. He's the last remaining god, you know, until, spoiler alert, everybody who hasn't seen it, but everybody should have seen it because that movie's made money, Wonder Woman herself, who's actually just a demigod. But anyhow, so I watched the movie. I enjoyed the shit out of this movie again. I was like, damn, this was a really good film, and I really wish DC made more of these, because for me, DC's 2 for 2. I enjoy the shit out of Man of Steel. I don't care. And Man of Steel is less of a decisive movie in terms of fan reaction than BVS is, right? Wonder Woman is pretty much universally loved. Suicide Squad is a weird seesaw, because I do like Suicide Squad, but there's just some weird shit that I don't like about it. But all that aside, we watch Wonder Woman. Then I said, fuck it, we're going to do the whole thing. We go watch Man of Steel. So we're basically doing it in DCEU's chronological order. And again, watch Man of Steel. I fucking love it. I don't have it.
You use chronological order, than Wonder Woman came first.
That's why I watched Wonder Woman first, then I watched Man of Steel. Okay. Yeah. And then I watched BV.
Not paying attention to what you were saying.
Well, stop smoking. Then I watched BVS. And I don't know what it is, but every time I watch that movie, and I watch the extended cut, I don't watch the theatrical cut. I don't like that cut. The extended cut gives you a lot more. Every time I watch that movie,
a lot more bullshit.
Yeah, you can say that, but here, this is me. I'm just gonna go on a tangent here. Every time I watch that movie, I get more and more out of it. Watching it this weekend, the only thing, and this is never going to change, the only thing I hate about this movie is Jesse Eisenberg's portrayal of Lex Luthor. But I did something. I did something to trick myself to enjoy it. In my mind, every time he spoke, I heard Bryan Cranston. I pictured Bryan Cranston delivering it like if he was Walter White. I pictured Bryan Cranston delivering the lines like hell, even if he was was it Joe Brody? Yeah, Joe Brody from Godzilla. I listened in that voice. Kind of like when I watch a Batman movie now and, you know, Christian Bale's up on the screen going, "Where's the Joker?" All I hear is Kevin Conroy. I don't hear Christian Bale. I hear Kevin Conroy. And it works for me. It's like I trick myself mentally. And that's what I did with this movie. And I'm going to tell you something. You keep the dialogue, personally, you keep the dialogue exactly the same way. Just have another actor doing something completely different than what Eisenberg was doing, which was, you know, his version of the Joker or even Jim Carrey's Riddler. Get that out of there. And it actually works, and Lex is actually a very menacing fucking villain. So that was one of the things that helped me enjoy this movie even more this time around. Even though I still hate Eisenberg, and he's never going to...
So what you're saying is that if you change the movie completely, it becomes a better movie?
No. If you change Lex Luthor, it definitely becomes a better movie. But, now check this out. Now I'm watching this shit, and I've seen this movie several times, so it's not really much of a critical eye anymore. It's just like going through the motions. Trying to pick up things that I didn't pick up before now, you know? And one of the biggest issues everybody, including myself, have with that movie is, aside from Jesse Eisenberg, Martha. And oh boy, we all know how stupid that shit is, right? And it is. It's absolutely stupid. But I had this...
Why did you say that name?
Yeah, exactly. But I had this fucking weird-ass epiphany the other day watching this movie. I said, wait a minute. Something clicked in my head, dude. I was like, oh my God, it kind of makes sense. And in that vein, the way I was thinking, I started really appreciating this movie. Now, in the extended cut, Clark Kent does what Clark Kent does. He is an investigative reporter. He is going against the grain of what Perry's telling him to do, which is cover sports. This dude is in Gotham trying to get some information on Batman, doing his thing. They show this. So you see this along the lines of the movie. Then, of course, we get the scene with Lex Luthor's little shindig party where Clark Kent can hear Alfred talking to Batman in his earpiece. Puts two and two together. Clark Kent's not stupid. He understands who Bruce Wayne is, right? That being said, now, when that scene comes, because it always pissed me off up until this weekend, Friday night, matter of fact, being that investigative reporter, knowing that Bruce Wayne now is Batman, do you not, this is how I looked at it. I believe, even though they didn't show it, but I believe he knows who he is, knows his family, knows his background, and used Martha as that thing to sway Batman from killing him. He basically played Batman right there. I don't think Superman was saying, please save Martha because he was scared. He did that shit on purpose. He purposefully said Martha's name to trick Batman because he knew who Batman was, and being a journalist knows his history. And if Batman Beyond Return of the Joker has put anything in my mind, is when the Joker tells Batman when he broke Robin and Robin spilled the beans and now he knows who Batman is. It's true, Brucey. All you are under that puckish hysteria is a scared little boy crying for mommy and daddy. Superman knew that. So that's why I believe he said Martha on purpose, and I could totally love that movie even more now. And maybe my hands are reaching too much into the pudding. I don't know. But that's how I feel after watching it this time around. The extended edition really does it serviceable justice. It's still, to me personally, it's still like the worst of the bunch. Because for whatever reason, I still get a kick out of Suicide Squad. But I can honestly sit here and say I thoroughly enjoy it more now. Oh, and after seeing Wonder Woman, there's another... Looking at Gal Gadot's performance in BVS, I love it because she built that wall around her now. You see her from Wonder Woman being like this innocent, naive child coming into man's world for the first time and experiencing the joys, wonders, and of course the horrors of just life outside of Paradise Island. Now she's had years upon decades upon decades to have this, tough exterior built around her, which is why she is the way she is in that movie, and I fucking bought it hook, line, and sinker. That goes to Patty Jenkins, massive credits for portraying Wonder Woman, or showing us Wonder Woman in that light in her movie. Gal Gadot I shitted all over that girl, I really did. I like where they're going, so it kind of gives me a glimmer of hope for Justice League. But I'll save that for, after you say your piece. So that's just how I look at this movie now. Hearing Bryan Cranston instead of Jesse Eisenberg delivering the same exact lines, I think would make it's a better way. Superman, not just saying Martha out of randomness, actually doing it on purpose to trick Batman. And Gal Gadot's performance makes so much more sense now. She's not wooden. She's steel. She's legit like steel. That is a woman who knows she has these abilities, who's lived in man's world for decades and seen the horrors. And I like I said, I personally now, I appreciate the movie a lot more. Chris, rip me apart.
Jane, you ignorant slut.
You dirty bastard.
I definitely feel like you're giving Zack Snyder and David Goyer way too much credit. And if that had been their intention, when people were ripping into that particular moment from the beginning, they definitely would have rushed and came out, no, you gotta understand, because he knew Boober. They would have jumped at the chance to use that as the excuses why he said Martha. I think if this podcast ever makes the rounds, like I feel like in a few months, like Zack Snyder's gonna watch this, and then Dad's gonna, oh yeah, no, that's absolutely what we were trying to do. Like, yeah, it was because he knew who Batman was and he knew the history and he knew his mother's name, and that's why he specifically said Martha instead of calling her mom. Because who the fuck calls their mom by the first name when they're in a dire situation like that?
Which is why I hated that scene forever, like until this weekend.
So yeah, I feel like you're absolutely. If that's what makes it work for you, great. I don't think that that was their intention at all. I think you're giving them too much credit if you're trying to imply that that's what they intended to do with that scene. It does make a certain amount of sense when you break it down that way. But like I said, when you're a writer and your audience has to fill in the gaps of what you wrote for you, then you're a bad writer.
That
I have to come up with my own justification for why your scene works, then your scene didn't work.
Yeah. That's that what's that? That's the Prometheus effect.
Exactly. The Lindelof effect.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't, and it's like the same thing with the Lex Luthor thing. Like if you have to imagine a completely different actor playing that role in order to enjoy the performance, then it was a shitty performance.
Oh yeah, no, I'm not debating that fact.
That's what I'm saying. Like if you have to go into your own head and invent these things to make this movie more enjoyable, then like
that character more enjoyable,
then you really haven't changed anything. The movie is still shitty. You're just trying to find some way to like, oh, I can stomach this now. Like, you're better off just going, fuck this movie, man. I don't want nothing to do with it. Like,
I can't.
Yeah, like
you gotta watch that. Gotta watch it before Justice League. You gotta get yourself psyched in the zone. Oh, because if anything,
I can't get myself psyched in the zone by watching a shitty movie.
But if anything, you watch it, then go see Justice League, and if Justice League is not that good, but better than BVS, you'd be like, you know what? This was a great movie.
It would be hard for it not to be better than BVS at this point, though. Like, it would be hard to film a flaming bag of dog shit for 2.5 hours and have it not wind up being better than BVS.
Oh my God. You hate that movie, don't you?
I really do. I really do.
I was with you, man. I really was with you.
But, man, I really legit almost walked out of Suicide Squad. The only thing that kept me in that movie was because by the time I realized I wanted to walk out, I had been in the theater for too long to be able to go back and reclaim my money.
Yeah. You could have snuck into
like
another movie.
They'll let you get your money back if you walk out. But like it has to be within a certain time frame. Like if you walk, I think it's like they give you like 30 minutes from when the previews start or something like that. I don't know the exact rule, but I do know that a lot of theater chains, they will give you your money back if you walk out. But after a certain amount of time, it's like you basically seen too much of the movie. Like you've gotten too much of the product for us to give you your money back. So by the time I was like, fuck this fucking movie, man. Like I was like, but I'm not gonna get my money back, so I might as well just sit here and fucking torture myself so I get my money's worth or whatever.
You're just a Marvel Marvel lover. That's all it is. You just love Marvel. You don't like DC. No, let me stop. Like I said, the Jesse Eisenberg performance, I still hate with all my heart. But like, I zoned out and heard Bryan Cranston, and it worked for me. It was serviceable. But I'm going to stick to my guns. And I heard everything you said, and I get that, and it's cool. But I'm going to stick to my guns, man. I'm going to give Superman and Clark Kent the benefit of the doubt behind that, because you're absolutely right, and I think that's everybody's consensus when they first see that movie. Why the fuck would he say you've got to save Martha instead of saving my mother? He's got my mother. Because when he starts, before they even start fighting, he goes, hey, listen, Bruce. I think he even calls him Bruce. He's like, listen, Bruce, let's have a conversation. And then all of a sudden, Batman is like, fuck you, and starts letting off machine guns and sonics, and then Superman's like, man, I gotta show you, dude, who's in charge here. And of course, we all know Batman's always gonna be in charge because fucking Batman. But yeah, but so that's like I said, man, for the first time watching this movie, and I think this might have been this 8th time I've seen this movie. That's right, because I'm crazy. Mm-hmm. I like to put myself through these situations.
That's 7 times too many.
That probably you're right, but
that's actually 8 times too many.
I will say this though. I'd rather watch that, and this one's for you, Matt. I'd rather watch that than that piece of shit Shin Godzilla. Take that, Matt. Take that, Matt. You don't like it? Fight me. But yeah, I just I give Superman the benefit of the doubt there. I think he did his homework. He knew the deal, and he said, "You know what? I'm going to, if I'm caught in a situation, I'm going to play to his fear." And I think that's exactly what he did. Now, how Batman found her is something completely. Oh no, that's right. The phone was tapped. Never mind. Never mind. But yeah, anyhow. So yeah, that was how what I did this weekend. I watched Man of Steel. I still love it. Um, there's some really cool shots in BVS in the beginning, especially. But overall, that movie is still, it's
Garbage.
I like it better than Doctor Strange. I'll put it like that because I didn't like Doctor Strange at all. So I'll put it above Doctor Strange. And that's probably it because after that, and Iron Man 2, I really don't like Iron Man 2 at all. It's boring. It's the same fucking movie. It legitly is the same movie.
I'm not a fan of Iron Man 2, and I'm not a really big fan of Doctor Strange either, but to put them below Batman vs. Superman,
oh yeah,
bold statement.
Oh no, I'm doing it right underneath it, because of this viewing, right underneath it. Boop, put it right there.
Like my Donald Trump mic. Wrong.
Listen here, Rocket Man, you take your time out, all right? Time out. But yeah, dude, and then again, I didn't watch Suicide Squad this weekend because we had watched Suicide Squad like 2 weeks ago, so it's still fresh in the head. And I can't believe you were that mad at that movie. That movie is stupid fun. It's stupid fun.
It fucking sucks.
Okay, look, it's one of those movies where it's a guilty pleasure.
Look, it fucking sucks.
Oh, you're crazy. It's got a good soundtrack. Oh, poor David Ayer. Speaking of, let me ask you a question.
Got a great soundtrack that was terribly used.
Terribly used. No, I absolutely 100% agree. They just don't make them like Guardians of the Galaxy. I'm just, just leave it at that. Let me ask you though. Speaking of David Ayer, this week he posted a pic of Alex Ross's Mad Love cover with Joker and Harley Quinn. What are we getting? Are they doing that? Are they doing Gotham City Sirens? Like, what the hell's going on? I'm completely confused.
I don't know. I don't care anymore because DC like they got one solid success with Wonder Woman, and then they just started throwing a whole bunch of shit at the wall, hoping something would stick.
After they had initially taken everything off the wall before Wonder Woman.
Yeah, like guys, you don't know what you're doing. It's obvious at this point that Warner Brothers does not know what they're doing with these DC properties.
Okay, so
I had gotten such high hopes after Wonder Woman. Like, okay, they gave the reins to this person. She did something amazing with it. Who knows how Justice League is going to turn out? Maybe Joss Whedon, maybe a balance between Joss Whedon and Zack Snyder is going to give us something amazing or something like that. But then you start hearing all this news. Oh, we're going to do Gotham City Sirens. No, we're going to do Joker and Harley movie. No, we're going to do a little bit of mix of both and mash them together. No, we're going to do this. We're going to do that. Like, the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. Yep.
They're railroading their own franchises by being so fucking indecisive.
Let's just hope Flashpoint, they do retcon some situations and reset. That's my hope. I honestly hope for that because...
And that's another thing. You're like 4 movies in, you're already trying to soft reboot. Like, what the fuck?
Because it doesn't work. It doesn't work. I think Wonder Woman is the only movie that can stay in continuity with the reboot because everything happens before Barry's mother is born.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that's the flashpoint right there. That's the crux. Barry going back saving his mother. At that point in time, Wonder Woman is already in man's land for like 4 or 5 decades. So
see, here's my thing though. It's my problem with them doing Flashpoint straight out the base as his first movie. Like, yeah, some of the mainstream audience might be filled in on that storyline because, a lot of them probably were introduced to it through the show. But this is going to be the Flash's first major cinematic outing. And here you're going to have a 2-hour movie where you have to A, introduce him as the Flash, B, introduce Reverse Flash or Professor Zoom or whatever the fuck you want to call him. C, have Zoom, Reverse Flash, do the whole murdering Barry's mother thing, create the Flashpoint paradox, and if they're faithful to the comics in the way that like we want them to be, then you have to do this whole alternate reality where Wonder Woman and fucking Aquaman are trying to kill each other, and this whole big global war is happening. And you got to use that to introduce other characters you've never fucking heard of before. Like, what the fuck?
I agree, but I'm more I'm not so pessimistic about it. I am.
The whole thing should have kicked off with a World's Finest movie.
100%.
So, not a solo Superman movie. No talks about a solo. But the whole thing should have kicked off with a World's Finest movie, loosely based on the animated movie where the Joker goes to work with Lex Luthor or whatever like that. That's how we introduced the Joker. That's how we introduced Lex Luthor. That's how we introduced Superman and Batman. And then from there, we can move towards the solo movies that eventually build towards the Justice League. But you already have like this established shared universe by introducing multiple characters in the same movie while having them work together. And that way, by the time you get to the Justice League, you already have Batman and Superman establish this mutual respect for each other instead of trying to fight with each other over some dumb fucking reason that made no sense. Oh, Lex Luthor played us against each other. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, he did. That still bothers me. It's like, come on, Bats, you're smarter than
Neither
that.
one of those characters should have fell for that.
And that's where Superman, when he went down there and started trying to talk to Batman, listen, we can't do this, and Batman didn't want to hear it. And Batman's head is like, you blew everybody up in the Capitol. You know, this is all your fault. You killed these people. You did this. You did that. Man, you deserve to die. You deserve to die. Like, they're gonna build a fucking wall in outer space so Superman can't come back. But that was a bad joke. But if anybody could do it, it is Bruce Wayne. But you know, as far as Flashpoint goes, look, I 100% agree with you. If they wanted to stay comic book accurate, that's never going to happen. Never. Because of the amount of shit that's in that book. And again, you're talking about like a 6-7 issue miniseries on top of all the little like offshoots from everybody's comic. Batman Flashpoint, Superman Flashpoint, you know, Wonder Woman Flashpoint.
You got everything leading to Rebirth and all that.
Right. You got to condense it all. But I don't think they necessarily need to do all of that now. That being said, I heard that Wonder Woman is going to make an appearance in Flashpoint. Could we hear later on? Because Aquaman's already pretty much in the can. That movie's happening too. Flash is going to... I honestly believe they're going to soft reboot everything. They're going to set shit straight, realign, and have us forget about some of the... I guess... monstrosities that we got, like Doomsday and Superman dying. Like, if they do it, if they really do pull the trigger on Flashpoint and reboot, again, Wonder Woman to me should be safe because you're rebooting from a certain part of the timeline. And in that timeline, anything Wonder Woman did in World War I happened. It happened. It happened because Flash wasn't born in the 20s, you know what I mean? Or whenever World War I was taking place. So that movie is safe, and you can still say, well, Wonder Woman is actually the kickstart to this universe. And it will work because Wonder Woman is a great movie, and that's where you want to go.
Because Barry's decision to go back in time and save his mother when he was a kid did alter the course of how Superman crash landed, which would have happened before Barry's mother was killed.
Right, but that's... Well...
Those time ripples go out in all directions.
Yeah. See, I don't look at it as time ripples. I'm looking at it as the Back to the Future. That's my basic for time travel all the time. Like, we started here, we went here, we came back, we did something here, we went back a little bit before when we started, we changed something, we come back, and now we're at a different dimension. There's an alternate reality. You know, so I'm that's how I play with time. That's how my mind can focus and understand time and time paradoxes. Once you start talking ripple effects, now I'm like, man, fuck you. What are you gonna do? I can't deal with that ripple effect shit. Take the ripple effect out. It's that simple. Take it out. Do linear time. Just linear time. And do the jumping back and forth. But speaking of jumping back and forth, we beat up DC. We always beat up DC here. I'm sorry. We love DC. That's why we beat y'all up.
We want you to do better.
Exactly. I watched Mask of the Phantasm yesterday with my daughter. Woo! She was bored. I loved every minute.
That movie fucking holds up.
It does. It really does. But I will say this. The animation is definitely dated, but I still respect the animation style they went with in that movie. Doing the black canvas and then drawing everything on top of it so the black saturate more. It's just perfect. It's perfect. But after I watched that, I watched Return of the Joker. Ooh, and even though that was like a direct-to-DVD movie, good Lord, the leaps and bounds in animation on that film is incredible. Incredible. I loved it. Loved it. That one, my daughter, she liked the Joker's death. She loved that whole basically mini animated series episode in the middle of that movie. Loved it. And it's just, and it holds up. And it's
the boundaries they push in that movie, especially like the unreleased cut, like the one you could only get on the DVD or whatever like that didn't air on TV, with the more graphic scenes.
Mm-hmm.
Like the boundaries they push with that movie for it being geared towards kids, that was kind of a big thing.
It was definitely ballsy, and it's kind of crazy because you think about that, and that was an original movie, right? Then you take some source material, let's say like The Killing Joke or The Dark Knight Returns 1 and 2, and as fans, we like, oh shit, we know these comics. This should be good. And for me personally, I didn't really care for The Dark Knight Returns. I was like, blah. And The Killing Joke, I couldn't even finish. And we're talking about Kevin Conroy and Mark Hamill reprising their roles. And I was like, I don't even want to finish it. I love that book. I love that book. But then something like Batman Beyond Return of the Joker or Justice League Crisis on Two Earths, those are fun original movies. They're like, holy shit. And you're right, the boundaries they pushed. The boundaries they pushed turned that unrated edition into I think a PG-13. And all it was basically the Joker with the knife, Eye on the other hand, and stabbing Batman in the knee, and Joker getting shot with the arrow and dying. Like, my daughter loved that shit.
I think a lot of people don't understand the context of that because people might not remember as well as we do, or whatever like that. But even as recently as the early 2000s and everything like that, around the time that movie would have come out, the 99 2000s or whatever, stuff like that wasn't really done in cartoons. They weren't really throwing adult subject matter into cartoons the way they are now, where it's kind of almost like a standard thing where you have stuff in there that the adults can enjoy as well as the kids. It really wasn't done. This stuff was for kids. And the kids watch it, and the parents would just be in the background in the kitchen. Hey, go ahead and watch Batman. And they walk out. Did this kid just fucking shoot the Joker in the chest with what? What are they watching?
Exactly. And
nowadays, 2010 on and everything like that, you see something like that, it's a little aggressive, but it's par for the course of what's going on with cartoons these days and everything, and stuff geared towards kids. But back then, that was if you were 12, 13 years old watching this movie and then fucking Robin shoots Joker in the chest with this thing and starts crying because he has PTSD, and you're like, no, I'm crying and I don't know why. I don't understand what's happening here.
And you nailed it.
Wasn't done.
You nailed it right there in that scene alone. That is such a strong fucking sequence when he shoots him and then just breaks down and cries. It's a mind-boggling. You sit there wow. And I seen that movie in early 20s when it came out because I was a fan. But like you said, you're a 13-year-old kid, 12, 13-year-old kid, and you see that happen, you're like, holy shit. My experience with that was Batman the Animated Series, the first episode, that Sunday night episode. And I've told the story a million times. But when you see Batman, when he's, grapple hook Man-Bat's foot, and Man-Bat flies past the blimp, and Batman's face smashes into the windshield. And the next time you see Batman, he's bleeding. I was like, whoa, 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 what the fuck? Because you don't see that in American television. You see it in anime. And not everybody knows what anime is. You know what I mean? Like, Pokemon don't count. You know what I mean? Like, I'm sorry, all y'all Pokemon fans.
Seeing blood in cartoons.
Exactly, we weren't. It was the hardcore Japanese animation shit or Fritz the Cat. You know, like, and I don't even think there was blood in Fritz the Cat, but those were adult themed cartoons. We weren't able to watch that. So seeing Batman bleed in a cartoon on television was absolutely insane, especially when it was the first episode. I was blown away. That changed my whole dynamic towards the character.
Like not just like the stuff that they show, but like the psychology of the character. Like Joker telling the story of what he did to Robin, was vicious from like a psychological standpoint. You're sitting there, watch this dude talk about how he fucking tortured a kid and brainwashed him into becoming like this little mini version of yourself, whatever, like that. He's just like, but it's like you would have been proud to see him so strong, but all too soon the potions and the whatever, like, took their toll. And it's like you're sitting there watching, and you're like, that is some dark shit. And then he has the whole thing. It's like, it's true, Bruce. Like, and like, you know, now I know who you are. And it's like, and much like a kid who peeks at his Christmas present, I found the whole thing to be rather anticlimactic. Now he's giving this whole speech, and then Batman bursts through the thing and goes, "I'll break you." No, he's like, bursts through the thing and says, "If you don't like the movie, I've got slides." And he's like fucking mocking him. You just sat here and talked about torturing this 12-year-old kid, and you're joking about this shit with this dude. And what the fuck is wrong with this character?
And right before he breaks in, I love that. It's one of my favorite in entire DC animated universe, and probably in cartoons in general, when he goes, it'd be funny if it wasn't so pathetic. Oh, what the heck, I'll laugh anyway. And he cracks up. That right there. But you know what? And see what you just said, that whole sequence. This is what I love about what they do, what they are capable of doing. In animation, why can't you just put that in your movies? Because here's the thing. We're not that far off in age. We're a couple of years different, right? I got a couple of years on you. But we get to see it as children and grow up with it. So the payoff is there when we watch Return of the Joker. And we're like, oh my God, like you just said, this is some deep fucking psychological shit. We're sitting there watching it as adults now, like, yo. But like you said earlier, you can have your 12, 13-year-old cousin, brother, son, whatever, sitting there watching it too. They don't see it like that yet. They just see that's the Joker. He does crazy things. He turned Robin into a mini Joker. We see the psychological aspect, and it's just like, oh my God, it's they do so much for adults. Which is some of the reasons why I understand why Teen Titans Go gets so much hate. But I don't, dude, I'm telling you, I sit there and watch that show sometimes and I'm like, oh shit, there's an inside joke. Oh shit, there's an inside joke. It's good.
Like I don't watch Teen Titans Go because I know that Teen Titans Go is constructed more specifically to deal with like the 8 to 10 crowd.
Right.
But like the original Teen Titans was silly. It was campy, it was goofy, but there was still stuff in there for like the 11 to 13, 14-year-old crowd and everything like that. So like, yeah, as an adult, that's really still technically not for you, but there's things in there that you're like, okay, this is a little bit more mature while they're still doing all this silly stuff I can appreciate. Like that story, the Slade story arcs.
Yes.
And then the story arc with Triton.
Yes. Trigon,
my bad. Yeah. With Raven and everything like that, which I thought in the series was done much better than in the movie that they released a year or two ago.
100%.
But that's also because like the movie was more condensed. You know, the series, they had a couple episodes to really fill in some of the gaps and stuff. But so that series, it had its goofy moments and its cheesy moments, but it still had like more mature stuff. Whereas Teen Titans Go, I'm like, okay, it's not for me.
Right.
I don't sit here saying that the show is terrible because it's not for me. I would hope they would do both.
No.
Something for the older people as well as like the kids who want to watch these goofy characters be goofy.
Yeah, I mean, if we get Young Justice, we should be able to get give us one more season of Teen Titans. I wouldn't be mad.
Yeah, like it's the same reason I don't watch like the Avengers Infinity whatever, like the one where they're basically like little kids.
What?
There was like an Avengers series where like they were essentially drawn as little kids. It was a little kid show. So I was like, like that's not for me, and I'm not gonna sit here and watch it. But like, if I was trying to school my little 5-year-old cousin, this is how I might be introducing him, because it's content more geared to something that a 5-year-old kid can process.
And that right there is exactly what I did with Teen Titans Go. I put my nephew, I said, let's sit down. It was a marathon. They're like 10-minute episodes, and they run them for like 4 hours. So you get a shit ton of episodes. I said, sit down, let's watch this. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I'm cracking the fuck up. I'm like, holy shit. He don't get that. I get it. That's funny. But
yeah. Like, I'm not going to sit my 5-year-old cousin down just like the scene with the Joker, like, but all too soon the shocks and the serums took their toll. He's sitting there watching Robin like, that's not how you introduce little kids to this. Like, as much as you might want them to like enjoy it on the level that you enjoy it on, the brain isn't there yet. So, yeah, you got to be careful with that. You got to respect. Like, I think a lot of adults who are geeks and like watching these shows tend to forget that you can't introduce little kids at the same level that you're at. Like, I can't have 5-6-year-old nephew sitting there watching Batman bang Batgirl on a rooftop.
Yeah.
It's not for him.
Shit, I'm pushing 40, and I was like, yeah, this ain't for me. Get out of here.
But you put them on with like the little cartoons like Teen Titans Go, or you might throw them, like, you introduce them to the Adam West Batman or something like that, and then from there, you build us like maybe the Tim Burton Batman, and then the Batman, the animated series, which gets a little bit darker and everything like that. But you don't start them off with like fucking Batman fighting the mutants in the mud pit. You don't start off with this dieselized Batman talking about, this isn't a mud pit, it's an operating table, and I'm the surgeon.
They don't get Frank Miller, dude. They won't get Frank Miller at all.
You don't start him off with like the Joker with the batarang coming out of his eye, snapping his own neck to blow up everybody. Like,
it's true.
That's not what you start off the 5-year-olds. Oh. So if you're an adult who wants to watch these shows, don't get mad when Cartoon Network puts on the Teen Titans Go. Don't get mad when they put on like a more kiddie version of Spider-Man or like the Avengers or whatever like that. It's for the kids.
Hell, look at Justice League Action. I mean, it looks like a children's show.
It's for them to get a taste of what these characters are without some of the heavier themes that we explore later on.
It's so true. Look at that. I knew you'd come around to my Batman v Superman theory, man. I'm so happy you finally did. It took a little bit, but...
What the fuck are you talking about? Don't try to spin shit in a different direction.
See how much we love DC here. That's why we bash it, because we love it. Real quick, I want to throw, before we finish this, I'm gonna just do like rapid fire shit. So like in one word, just give your thoughts. And I have none of this planned, by the way. So I'm a freestyle and you're gonna freestyle, and we're gonna just go back and forth. All right. So real quick, some of the stuff we didn't get to talk about in the past couple of weeks. J.J. Abrams directing episode 9.
Cool with it.
All right. Hellboy.
Yeah, I love that fucking image, man.
Woo-wee. I'm like, if he doesn't...
I love the Ron Perlman.
Yes. Okay.
Guillermo del Toro's character designs are fucking amazing. They've always been amazing. He's always done fascinating stuff with like creature design and everything like that. So it's sad that he's not doing the third movie, whatever like that. But the way they got David Harbour, he looks like a Hellboy that will fuck you up.
Absolutely. Justice League.
I'm looking forward to it.
Last Jedi.
Looking forward to that.
You watch football?
Nope.
October 9th, watch football. Watch Monday Night Football.
Nope.
Watch it. The Last Jedi trailer premiering on ABC Monday Night Football.
I'll wait for it to come up on YouTube.
You better not. I'm going to do a special podcast right after. No, I'm not. I'm lying. We're going to wait for the fucking weekend. Maybe the next day.
I originally don't watch football because I'm not interested in it, but now all like the political aspects, I can use that to self-justify the fact that I don't watch it. I'm not going to support the NFL for any means.
Yeah.
That's my situation right there.
Sons of bitches versus fine people.
Fuck Trump.
I ain't say it, but good answer. All right. Okay. Star Trek Discovery.
That looks like it's gonna be dope.
That's tonight.
Shit, that is?
Dude, I said the same thing this morning. I said, what? That's tonight? Oh, shit.
I'm going to have to wait till tomorrow, though, because I don't got a TV, I don't got cable, and I just got internet, so I got to wait till it comes online tomorrow and I can stream it.
And that's the thing. I think it's streaming off that CBS Go or whatever the fuck it's called, that All Access CBS app. And I'm like, come on, man. I don't want to pay for that.
I'm going to find my
connections.
Yeah. As Dom Cobb from Inception would say, it's not, strictly speaking, legal. I got one for you real quick.
Go ahead.
Your thoughts on Stan Lee saying that Fox and Marvel are talking about joining forces for the X-Men?
Boner.
But at the same time, I'm just kind of like, Stan Lee, I love you, but shut the fuck up.
Yeah, exactly that. And I will say this. If they are in talks, it's probably to try to get an X-Men cartoon.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Disney really, really, really wants that. I haven't watched a Disney, I hated that Avengers cartoon that came out. I liked Earth's Mightiest Heroes. I thought that was really good. It looked like Justice League. I think Bruce Timm actually had some kind of involvement in it. And some of the stories were good. Even though they did stick to the source material a lot more than DC did. DC took chances with the animated universe. But I did like Avengers, Earth's Mightiest Heroes. That shit that came after that, though, with the better animation, everything sucked. I couldn't watch it. The animation was good. But outside of that, I hated the voice actors. Ultimate Spider-Man, boof it. They need another X-Men show. X-Men Evolution and Wolverine and X-Men.
Get me on the Ultimate Spider-Man. I was like, there is only one, with the exception of the nostalgia factor from the original cartoon that I grew up with in the 90s.
Right.
There is only one good, absolutely, you cannot question this Spider-Man cartoon, and that was Spectacular Spider-Man.
And I gotta be honest, I watched a little bit of that, and I just couldn't get into it. My boy, my best friend, he was like, that's only because you watched 3 episodes. You gotta watch. I was like, I don't know. And then where I was watching it, this site got taken down. So there goes that. But yeah, all right. Let me see. Fuck. All right, 2 more.
Because unless you're actually involved in those meetings, you don't know what you're talking about. I love you, but shut up.
I agree. All right, 2 more. Ready? Okay. Elton John.
Dragon kicking somebody in the chest, wearing colorful feather outfit with silver go-go boots. Best thing committed to film and cinema history. Go see Kingsman Golden Circle. Elton John dragon kicking motherfuckers.
Man, I should have saved that for the last one. We're going to end this one on a down note. And the last and not least, this one's for you, brother. Matt and his It Love.
Donald Trump, Mike. Wrong.
And that will be the show for today, ladies and gentlemen. We freestyled today. We were just off on a tangent. I'm glad y'all stuck with us, Chris, man. This was fun. Good episode. Very fun. 25 episodes. There's a little bit more, but we didn't count the Comic-Con or the throwaway show from last week. But 25 in. We're here. We ain't going nowhere. We'll be on iTunes real soon. Hopefully, Justice League. That will do it for me. Yo, Chris, man. Thanks for joining.
No problem. Even if you hate the rest of the movie, that Elton John dragon kick, motherfucker, worth it. Worth every goddamn penny.
Listen, that's not a spoiler, so I'm just saying I can't wait to see that shit myself. I am G1. Matt, we coming for you.